Hey guys, this is Blue Forest. So first of all, I just wanted to mention that my friends list is full. It's actually been full for a while. So if you send me a friend request in game and I don't accept, I'm not ignoring you. I just cannot accept anymore. You can only have 50 friends in the game. But honestly, that's a good thing because in-game chat is annoying. It's glitchy. I don't particularly like it. So if you have a question, you can always leave a comment on a video. I do use Discord as well. I'm not on there all the time, but Discord is way easier to use than in-game chat. So anyway, I don't know why you can only have 50 friends in the game, but that's how it is. And so I'm not going to be able to accept any more friend requests. But otherwise, we do have some updates to the game, including some bug fixes. So if you don't know, Netflix released a new version about a week ago. So if you have not reinstalled, I would suggest that you do so because we have some important patches for bugs, including a few long-standing ones that we've been waiting for quite a while to get resolution on. So we'll talk about those. The first of those, and the most important, is the fact that the shards issue in AMs, with teams not getting, 4-star bot shards, 3-star bot shards, etc., has finally been resolved. I mean, you can even go ahead and, take a look in AMs. If you look at the completion rewards, this is for D1, but you'll see that you no longer have the spinning icon. We did get confirmation with the last AM that teams did finally start getting the shards. And it's a shame that it took them so long to fix this because it was going on for over 2 months, but better late than never. And that means that all the teams that were going for 4-star bot shards in particular, you will now be able to start accumulating all of those with this week's AM. Okay, so that's finally been updated. Otherwise, there are also a few updates and fixes to specific bots. I did make a video on glitched bots last month where I spoke about all of the major bugs in the game that pertain to particular bots. Some of those have been fixed. Not all of them, but some of them. And so I want to go over the 3 important fixes that have been confirmed. The first relates to Sunstreaker, right? So Sunny, the good news about him is that his melee evasion when he's in his pristine state and when he gets pristine state buffs has been fixed. So before, he would never evade at all in any circumstance. Now he does. I've tested it quite a bit, and I will say that if anything, he seemed to be evading a little bit more than I would have expected him to. So he's still not going to evade all the time. He's not a bot like, B or Sideswipe, but the evasion does work, and it will help to get you out of trouble every now and then. So this was something that was part of his kit from the time that he was released, so it's very welcome news to see that it has finally been fixed. I also want to talk about Sound Blaster, because Sound Blaster has finally had a fix with his SIG. In the past, the trigger rate debuff that his SIG was supposed to apply would not happen. Okay? Now it does. And that's very worthwhile and good news for 2 reasons. One, of course, is the fact that applying a trigger rate debuff on the opponent, particularly in longer and more difficult fights, is very, very useful. But also, this pertains to his crit rate, right? Because his crit rate goes up when he applies debuffs on the opponent, and that will also include the trigger rate debuff that is part of his SIG. So if you like to use Sound Blaster, if he's one of your top bots, you can now start feeding him SIGs because his signature has finally been resolved. The third issue that I wanted to mention relates to IH, to Ironhide. He also got a very long overdue fix with his purification. So if you recall, before, whenever Ironhide would try to purify, which he does by blocking, if the opponent would try to hit him or attack him in any way while he was blocking, which obviously they did all the time, it would reset the timer and he would not be able to purify. That's been fixed now. So if you're using Ironhide and a bleed or a shock or whatever is landed on him and you block, even if the opponent tries to hit you, he will be able to purify. Now, Ironhide's purification is still by no means perfect. It's slow. It's kind of annoying. He only purifies 1 debuff at a time. But at least now you know that if you're using him and you need to purify, you can, regardless of whether or not the opponent tries to hit you. So that's also, a very useful and helpful update, okay? Otherwise, when it comes to other bots that I spoke about in my previous video, those issues are still outstanding. I'm not going to go over all of them right now, but I do want to just briefly mention Slipstream because she's been the most screwed up bot in the game for a long time, and unfortunately, she still is. I've tested her in the last few days. Friends of mine have. She's still a mess. Her range shots, her backstabs, certain buffs not activating, she's still very unreliable. They do not seem to have fixed her at all, and so for that reason, she's still one of the only bots in the game that I recommend people just totally stay away from because it's just not worth it to invest into a broken bot. Okay, there are several other bots that have particular issues as well that have not been fixed, but the good news is now that they have actually updated a few of these bots and patched them, we can be hopeful that they will fix issues in other bots with their next updates. And if they do, I will certainly keep you all updated. So we do know that for now, Sunstreaker, Sound Blaster, Ironhide all have fixes, and most importantly, the shards issue, 4AMs, has been resolved, and so all the teams that are going for shards will now be able to start getting them with the upcoming AM. Okay? So I will leave it there for now, guys, and we will be in touch again next time. Take care.